Well, guys, we're going to start out here. If you remember my buddy here, Michael, he did the walk around of the 210 that we now own 2 of. They're at Gringo Recycling, but we're staring at a mighty big machine here, Michael.
Yeah,
So
this is our SK520. The SK520 we reintroduced last year. It has been just a really great machine for us. The demand for them is just great. So,
and how many pounds is this machine here?
We're gonna come in at 52 metric tons.
Okay.
So she's a big girl.
She's a big girl.
She's a big girl.
That's a lot of iron.
Yeah, not gonna pull it behind you 3/4 ton. That's for sure.
No, you ain't.
But we've got them running. Your dealer is Company Wrench.
Yep.
And so you'll see these machines running shears and concrete processors and stuff all the way up. Your salesman is got one going out this week on a demo with a 66-inch bucket on it.
Okay.
And it's going into a sand pit application.
Hey, we know all about that.
You know about that. So and that's a lot. So it's a very versatile machine. It's a big machine. So you'll see these coming in the near future from Wrench, where they'll have either their front on it doing high-rise demolition. You'll see us at middle of next year introducing this same frame, but it'll be a high-reach demolition machine. Have a 98
high-reach front on it.
So,
okay.
So it's a very versatile platform.
Yeah, I bet it does good with that shear on the front of it, man, because this thing's got to have some power. Now, what size bucket we got on this here today? We might have to read the tag real quick.
Yeah, we got to read the tag on it.
Hey, I'm glad to see these teeth on this thing, though, because as we've said in the video before, this is my first time to Texas, but this looks like some dang hard clay out here, buddy.
Yeah, well, it is. It's running an ESCO on this ESCO tooth on this bucket.
Okay.
Which is a very good tooth. It's you get into a lot of this Texas soil. You can get here. We're in some Texas clay. You move over into areas around Dallas, Fort Worth. There you get into a material called caliche, which is this very nasty stone.
Ain't that what we just ate?
No, that was calache.
Calache. That's where I'm getting caliche from. Y'all talked about that special soil down here, and okay, caliche, calache.
And somebody that speaks that is fluent in Southern mushmouth. I speak a little English and a lot of Southern mushmouth, so it's very hard. You got to watch me because I get them all confused.
Okay.
But this is going to be a 3.875, so basically a 4 cubic yard. By the time
4
we
yard,
heap
okay.
it, yeah, we'll get 4 1/4 or so on it. So.
All right, nice.
So it's a good multi-purpose bucket for this size machine.
Yeah.
So,
it's a good looking unit, man.
well, you can see, when we you talked about it when we did the 210 walk around. We always want to start on the off cab side because we're male.
Right.
And once we get to the cab and buttons,
Yeah.
We're done.
Yeah,
So
kind of lose interest.
Yeah, we lose interest. So we got to start on the off side. So you can see that this unit has rotation on it. Of course, our auxiliary plumbing, all Kobelcos that come in that are North American machines have standard nibbler breaker hydraulics on it. You can see from the redesign, we went to the 52 tons. See, our old model was the SK500.
Okay.
All right, when we went to the swap from the Isuzu to the from the Hino to the Isuzu engine, we added 100 horsepower.
Okay.
So she's got 100 more horsepower
Wow.
back there than her predecessor.
That's a bunch.
So in order to do that, we had to oversize the pin. So unfortunately, a 520 cannot run a 500s bucket.
Okay.
All right, so it would just snap pins. So
Right.
You've got a completely redesigned dog bone H-link, and your pins are larger in order to handle that extra horsepower.
That extra horsepower.
So,
Okay. So how many horses are we talking total on this now?
Lord, you would ask me that.
I would.
Right?
I got to put you on the spot.
Would. So and I'd have to result. Look here, we have to.
We will come back in just a few seconds
and
with
we
the
can-
horsepower.
Yeah, it's because we go to the Kobelco app because
Yep.
all of our brochures are on the Kobelco app.
Your answer should have been 100 more than it used to be.
100 more than it used to be. So we're at we're at 463.
463. Wow.
Yes,
All right.
463. So that means we were actually like 362,
Okay.
364 on the old
All right.
machine. So
Man.
so
I wonder what they did to get that extra 100 horsepower. Just different.
well, it's changed to different manufacturer.
Yeah.
But
still, but
you went to
you're
the
still
Hino.
in the same kind of engine frame compartment. So
Well,
they-
no,
No?
That's the reason we had to redesign. So there's a lot of differences between the 500 and the 520.
Okay.
So even though they're the same class machines, when we went to the 520, we were out of the 50-ton market for a few years. So while they redesigned, so you'll actually see this engine is in what we would call backwards. The other, so the radiator is on this side. The cooling packs are on this side instead of the cab side.
Okay.
So there's a lot of changes. That whole compartment had to be changed. The whole machine had to be reconfigured
to get that
extra. You got to deal with balance. You got 100 horsepower. It's
that's
a
right.
heavier engine.
Sure.
So you get up there and you get in that 130,000 pound range machine. The weight is only going to help you if it's balanced.
Gotcha.
You know, and
makes
so
sense.
You got
stuff you don't think about, you know.
Yeah, so I mean, you see the traditional heavy undercarriage with the track guides. So this is a standard configuration machine. Okay, so they come straight out of the factory to North America with the 4 rock guards or the track guides on the bottom. Okay, so that's just our standard configuration. You can see there's extra beef added in. This is a 50-ton machine, and it's designed to run in 50-ton applications down in pits.
Yeah.
Some of the demolition applications that these machines will be in, the pit applications, it's going across debris piles and we
know
things.
all about that.
Yeah, you know, and so you want a really good heavy bottom on it. The step extenders are standard.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'm short.
Yeah.
And fat.
Me
but short.
too. Me too.
You know, and so but when you stand up here and you've got that good 3-point. See, I'm looking right there.
Yeah.
At this, I can see that step.
Yeah.
And my little short shins.
Yeah, a lot of them are hidden. Once you make that first step, you can't see anything, and that's a shin knocker.
That's a shin knocker, you know, and we get that. So one of the things that I really like the new additions to the 520 is they put catwalks on it.
Okay.
Okay. And the catwalks. I mean, I don't know why we didn't do this earlier.
Why didn't I think of that, Michael?
That is so sweet. You know, so now you can truck it.
Yep, and you don't get them bent up.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's a great addition. So you've got the short one on this side because this is where you're working. You're fueling. You're standing up here and you're fueling and stuff. Gives you a safe place to do that.
Yeah, that's nice and wide too.
Yeah, it is, and it's sturdy.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's when it's locked down. I mean, you know,
it ain't going nowhere.
It ain't gonna fold up on you. Okay, so it's a real nice setup.
Great idea.
All right, so we come over here. So this one's got the cooling packs on the off cab side.
All right.
Okay. And these doors are because this is the first machine that we are running the electric fan system on. Okay.
Okay.
And so or the hydraulic fans on it. So you can't just open this panel.
Gotcha.
Because it's temperature controlled and they can kick on whenever, right?
Okay.
And so the engineers opted to put bolts in. You have to remove the bolts to open that, and then it swings out.
Okay. For safety.
So it's for safety reasons. But your cooling pack is sitting back there. It does have 6 bolts per door.
Yep.
To hold them in, but it's a good heavy door.
Yeah.
It's just a good heavy door. Angle guards are standard on Kobelco machines.
Okay.
All of our conventional tail swing machines have the angle guards on it, so that's to protect your D channel or that's up underneath there. Which is, you know, accidents happen. We swing into trees. We do stuff. It's always good to have a little extra support on there.
It certainly is. I got a couple machines that are a little bent up on the rear end of them. So
it used to aggravate me.
Me too.
I like my straight doors, and I would slide down a levee into a dead gum tree or something. It would make me so mad.
I can't stand a dinged up door, but it happens. So the angle guard is not a bad idea.
It's not. So we step around to the back. You know, the really nice big counterweight. Now you see up above there behind the camera, behind your rear view camera, and you've got your 2 rear lights. This machine comes with counterweight removal.
Okay.
Okay, so that you can get it down because some states we've got to deal up north with frost laws. We've got to deal with you got bridge laws and all different things like that. So when you're looking at machines, you can get this with or without counterweight removal. Counterweight removal is a pricey option, but you can remove that.
So that's a pin up there that comes out, and then
you still have to pull your 4 bolts out.
Yeah.
You've got bolts on the bottom here.
Okay.
That you pull out that are in these large bolts right here.
Yep.
You drop them out, and then you plug the remote in. You stand off. It's got a lead on it, and you stand off and set the counterweight on the truck.
So it does it itself, huh?
Yeah,
Oh,
it'll
wow.
auto erect and all that. So.
Man, okay, that's impressive. I've never seen anything like that before.
Yep, but that's key. You know, the in being able to move in some of these cities and stuff like that, being able to drop and strip some weight down.
Yeah, like you say, up north with their crazy road laws and being able to move from demo site to demo site or job to job, that would make it a lot more efficient.
Yeah, so the you know, in most of my market, this is a very large machine, but when you get into some places, due to their this would be just an average sewer machine. You go to Dallas Fort Worth, they run a lot of 50 tons doing sewer work there because of the depth of their sewer. I mean, that's there's a lot of 80 tons 70 and 80 ton units laying sewer pipe, the size and the depth. Okay, and so you know, you see a lot of these, so it's a very versatile machine, but you got to be able to move it into these different venues and stuff like that. You're moving down these new suburb streets and stuff. There's compaction's not good, and so you need to be able to break it down into smaller parts.
That's handy.
So
I like it.
Gets that, of course. You can see there's the other camera sitting there looking at us. The unit comes with 270 degrees of cameras on it, so you can set that up in the on the screen how you want, what view you want to see. The you know, so it does have the 3 cameras for that. There again, you get over here. Catwalks break into 3 sections. You got 3 nice sections.
I really like that.
You know,
that makes me angry at myself. I didn't think of that on my own. It's so simple.
You know, I've seen the we've had customers in the past that have taken and built their own catwalk systems because of the applications that they're in. We've got one customer, a set of customers that work in drill mud all the time, and the machine is actually, I can walk under a 26 ton. Okay. All right, because it's got it's a high and wide undercarriage, and then it has a riser on top of that. Okay. And so they have the catwalks because they're sitting out in a pond. Yeah. You know, and if something goes wrong, you're not going to walk down the track, you know. So but they put their catwalks on them, but this is something that they weld on and it always uglied up the machine. This, you know, the engineers did a great job of designing. They really did. That's cool. So that does make, for short people, it makes it difficult for us to reach over, right? You know, but so we sit down there. Now you can see, now we're looking at the pump side, which we would typically look at, you know, expect to be on the other side. So but there you can see you've got your stacked pumps, you've got your rotation pump, you've got an extra pump on there because remember it has those hydraulic fans on it. Okay, yeah. So we have an extra pump that runs the hydraulic fans as well as your pilot pump there. Now, what's the reason for the fan change? Well, first off, the hydraulic fans, we're going to get some efficiency off of it. Okay. It's not pulling off the engine. So you're going to get some efficiencies that way, and it's just in order to run the different cooling fans, and stuff, gives you that variable pitch on your blades now. I mean, you've got multiple things that you can get with the hydraulic fans. Interesting. So, you know, some of our competition has gone to running multiple electric fans. I've seen that, where they have 4 to 6 of those electric fans to deal with. I mean, that's another way. You know, also a lot more electrical. A lot more electrical. And what happens when we have electrical? Yeah, I know. There's little rodents love to get up in there and chew on those wires, and the more electrical nightmares you're going to have. I agree. Me and electricity don't get along too good. No. Very nice, Michael. So she's very workable. For a big machine, you still got room to get up there and to work around stuff and stuff. Too big to be ground level service though. Okay. You'd have to be a giant. Andre the Giant might could reach. He might could do it. Yeah, but I'm not. No. But me and you, I'm gonna be on this catwalk. Yeah, me too. Right, so but right there's where you plug in the remote. That controls your a counterweight. Counterweight removal system. I gotcha. That's really amazing there. I wouldn't have thought it would be able to do it itself. That's cool. Yeah, it's, you know, you get to a certain size, when you get up to the 85 ton machines, it's an option there that most people don't take because you've got to already have a truck with enough axles to move. Right, yeah. All right, so you take the attachment off of it, you do just some different things like that, but 85 tons, you don't really see the take rate on the removable counterweight. Now 50 tons, you know, you get down there and you drop that counterweight off, you drop the tool off the front, put that on one truck, you know, and now you've got a machine that really cuts down on the size of truck you have to have. So another great feature they put on that is, you know, you can come out of the cab, we can go up there, get right to our engine compartment. We can check on stuff, do all that. So you know, you've got extra storage
That is a little different, but I like that because, you know, usually the extra storage is on your steps.
Yes.
And they're going up on the other side, but this is nice and
yep. So it gives you
convenient.
It gives you convenience. So the room to get up there, to walk onto that platform. When you're servicing your engine, because we still have to check our oil and, and do all that stuff. So we're going to be up there.
Or supposed to, anyway.
We're supposed to, yes. Yeah. And you keep a grease gun in there. You know, now some people,
what's a grease gun?
You know, they tell me that all the time. They say, "Oh, I grease machine every day," and it's like, well, maybe you should put grease in the grease gun.
Yeah, that helps.
That always helps. That always helps.
They were trying.
They were trying. That's right. All right, so you can see the with the cab guard on the 520, it comes with. I'm gonna climb.
Oh, yeah, we got that on all of our 210s.
Okay, and so the Kobelco cab guard is really nice because it swings open.
Now, hey, I don't know if mine does that. Now, I know my old SK210 doesn't do that, but that's handy.
Yep, no,
I like that. Because if you're not doing anything dangerous with it, to have those bars out of your way is pretty nice.
You know, in the old days when I was operating all the time, I made fun of people having the kick plate guards on it.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a week later after I was making fun of somebody having the kick plate guard, I knocked my kick plate out.
Oh yeah,
down there. So,
yeah.
You know,
we've replaced many of those.
Yeah, so it's that. But you know, that makes it very cleanable.
Yep.
Makes it where you can get to your window clean. But it's also in an emergency situation, it allows you an easier egress.
Okay.
Okay. So you got that. You got good cab. You got great lighting. The new machines really went overboard on the amount of LED lights that you have all over the machine. So you've got them out there on the boom. You've got them in the yet another toolbox where your def tank is. You've got a little toolbox there.
Oh,
so,
nice. Okay.
You know,
yeah, plenty of lights, man.
Plenty of lights. We got plenty of lights. So.
That's good.
And then when you get into this, so it does have an exoskeleton on it because of the this is a certified FOPS ROPS.
Okay.
Okay. But in order to meet the ROPS, because of the 52 tons, it has to have an exoskeleton on it.
Gotcha.
Okay. So it does add that extra strength on that. And then when you get up there, you can see just inside this is the ROPS.
Yep.
All right. Just inside, you see that black guard. That is your FOPS.
That's the fall.
So it has a level 2 falling object protection.
Okay.
Which a lot of our guys are doing demolition.
Oh, and demo, that's critical.
You know, got to have that level 2.
Yeah.
You know, and it's standard. Okay. So everything that we've looked at, you know, now this is an option. Putting the cab guard or the glass guard on it, that is an option. But the level 2 exoskeleton, all that's standard. Okay. That's standard on the machine. So.
Well, Kobelco, you know, seems to have a lot of equipment in the demo world.
We do. We love our demo customers.
Yeah.
It is it's a customer base that has required a lot of learning on my part. Yeah. Because I come from chasing beavers and swamps. Yeah. With excavators and doing dirt work and just general you know, excavator work and stuff. And then started working with Company Wrench and Kobelco, and it's like, wow, the things you have to do to tear buildings down. Yeah, so you know, it's a lot. It's interesting. So.
It is cool, man. So. All right, what are we moving on to next, brother?
All right, well, so we've looked at the lights, we've talked about that. But talking about some of the safety stuff, I mean, on the back on the counterweight back there, you notice that even the 520 has swing flashers on it.
Okay.
Okay. So when this machine moves, when the hydraulic solenoids are activated, the swing flashers
flash. Flashers come on, yeah.
Okay. So
that's important because you really don't want to get squished.
No. By
this size of a machine.
No,
that would be ugly.
You know, and all of our machines. So even look at that little bitty Mini over there. You see that it's got a strobe flasher there on the off cab side, right? So all of our machines that we bring to North America have swing flashers on them. Okay. You can put they've got the movement alarms. So you've got swing alarms, for an audible. And then you've got the visual with that. So, you know, a lot of safety stuff that people really overlook, you know, is built into the Kobelco. So it's not just a demolition machine. It's a machine built for all the different markets that we play in. So whether it's utility, we love the utility jobs because that's an area where I knew a little bit about. Stuff's changed so much now that I don't really know that much about it anymore. But you know, land clearing. This is a big girl. Yeah. You can take down some big trees.
Oh, so, sure.
And then, you know, your application you're looking for is the sand pit.
Yep.
So you put a 72-inch bucket on this, and it's going to load the trucks.
Quick. Real quick.
So, All right, but to moving on, we're going to look at the cab.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to step around here and we're going to move into the cab. All right, so the first thing when you step in is cab is huge.
There's a big old cab. Plenty of space.
You know, so you've got lots of room in the cab, all right? And then you start looking at all these knobs and buttons. All right, you've got an air ride seat on there.
Nice.
You know, you've got you will get comfortable.
One thing I appreciate about Kobelco is comfortability of the operator, because a lot of engineers, in my opinion, at least in the past anyway, it was all about power and, you know, just making sure the machine could do what it needed to do. You don't think about the poor operator's got to sit in it 10 hours a day. Well, I was that poor operator. Yeah. And man, if you're uncomfortable, you're not near as productive.
You think about in the old days, back when let's go back real low.
Okay.
When we had the controls, instead of being right here, they were out front.
Yeah.
All right. And you look at an old operator, I mean, how many of us have neck injuries?
Oh, yeah.
You know, from sitting out here all day long, looking at that, and you know,
they would hurt you.
Yeah, you do it 10 hours, you're going, you know, you can see somebody that's doing utility work, from the industry that I came from, and you can see they all had the stitches on the back where they had neck surgery, right? Yep. So a lot of stuff has gone in, a lot of engineering has gone into making this cab ergonomic.
Right. That's a different world today than
it is
back in the old days.
We've got to have power.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the nature of the North American market, right? Yep. Is you've got to have brute raw power. But you've also got to make the machine comfortable, because if you've got a comfortable operator, he's typically going to take better care of his machine.
Oh yeah.
And you take care of the operator's comfortable, he's taking care of the machine. Machine's lasting longer. He's happier. You know, and that's what we're looking for.
Less fatigue, more productivity.
You know, we sit in these machines for 8, 10 hours, 12 hours a day. You've still got a life afterwards. You don't need to be beat to death and then just drag out of the machine and go house, because if you're, depending on the age of your kids, you got to go ball, you got to go whatever, you got to go home and be dad.
Yeah, you got to live.
We got a life outside of work, so work helps us to afford life. So
yeah, I like it.
You know, so but you see that now when we start talking about that, you set the machine up. All this is set up so that you can do it appropriately, so that you're sitting there, and we have to do videos, or we have to do these safety classes now for work, right? Where we're supposed to be sitting at our desk, and you've got to have your legs at the proper angle so it doesn't hurt your back. And all. You can do that in this excavator. Wow. Okay, and so you can get it all where you can get it all comfortable and stuff. Looking at the floor, you've got footrests, you've got your travel. For those of us that like to use our hands. We have those our control rods are incorporated into the foot pedals. But then another standard feature is single pedal travel. This goes back to the old pipeliner days, where you're out in West Texas or wherever laying pipe, and it travels straight forward or straight backwards.
Okay. I've never had a machine with that on it.
So you don't have to have you're trying to balance.
Trying to match them up.
You're on the phone. I know you're hands-free operation.
Bluetooth.
You're Bluetooth.
You're Bluetooth on the phone.
But a bird flew by or something, and all of a sudden now you're going crooked, right? But now you've got single pedal travel. So that goes back to our old pipeline.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah, well, that's been phased in depending on the model, but that was an update that started last year. Yeah. So you can start seeing that phased in as it goes through the different models. Okay. So and that's the thing, is there's running changes on all these machines, so we could go sit in another machine, and even though the cab is going to be the same basic layout, there's different options and things that are on the different machines. So, but when you come down there, operator presence comes in, locks it down. A few years ago, 2 models ago, this didn't move.
Okay.
All right. You had to come around.
Okay. You had to walk around.
A lot of our competitors had that little flippy rod that gets down there. But
that moves the whole armrest out of the way.
We tend to have a little bit of swing area, right? And so our operators tend to have a little girth to them. Yeah. And so it's great for this to get up out of the way so that you can come in and sit down in that seat.
That's a good idea.
Okay. And so the engineers brought that back to us to do that. But I mean, look. You can control the pitch, because depending on whether you're a top operator or somebody that runs it on the side, and which really depends on a lot of it depends on if the kids are gamers. Yeah. So this new generation comes in, they're used to holding game controls. Right. Whereas those of us that are a bit older, we didn't have auxiliaries back in the old days, so we didn't have to worry about that. So we've got it just depends on where you're going to do that. Well, you can reset that. All right. So you've got control. we can move that up and down here.
Up and down. You
Okay.
can adjust the angle and
we
the
can
pitch.
adjust the pitch right there. All right, and then we've got this knob right here, which raises and lowers both the consoles.
Oh,
It
nice.
doesn't adjust
Yeah.
the seat. It raises the console because, you know, you want it so that you're not as taking the stress off.
Because I
your
got
shoulder.
short arms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The,
So that's handy.
So you know, it makes it so you can sit up there and you get comfortable in this machine. You know, you've got all sorts of lumbar support.
Mm-hmm.
You can tilt the back to your thing. You can set the headrest to support your neck. You know, I mean, there's all these options.
Everything but massaging seats.
Everything
And that's
but
probably
massage.
coming.
I
Who
wouldn't
knows?
doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. So, but the most important feature to me is this auto AC. So just like your car, you can set and forget, right?
Yeah.
You know, and so I like being able to set the temperature.
And not
And if it's
mess
cold
with
that
it, yep.
morning, it's gonna put heat on me. If
Yeah.
it's warm, it's gonna put that AC. It's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
hold that cabin temperature. I mean, there's so many features. The Bluetooth phone, so the phone hooks in. You've got your cradle here. See, I've got a big old case on my iPhone.
Oh, perfect.
You know, it's got a gap. The engineers put in a gap for the for your charging cord. So you've got
I thought of everything.
you've
Dadgum.
got 12 volt for those of us that still like to use what we call the old cigarette lighter.
Cigarette
cord.
lighter,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're probably not allowed to say that anymore, but you know.
Probably,
you know.
we'll try it.
There you go. And then, but then we've got the USB ports down here, you know. And then of course we have the all important, the George Lumpkins cup holder. Got to have that big cup holder, right? So we can have that big gulp sitting there.
And so George was he's retired now, right?
George is Mr. George is retired. He
Kobelco fella.
Yeah, he was Mr. Kobelco. He was with the company for a very long time, and he used to teach and do all the classes and stuff. And he would be out here if he was with us. If he was still with the company today, he would be out here doing this walk around.
Okay.
Much better performance.
With, with his big gulp.
Probably not with his big gulp, a cup of coffee.
Cup of coffee.
Cup of coffee. But he would be walking around here, and unlike me, George was a man of stature. He was a big Texas fella, you know, and so he stood over 6 foot tall, and you know, so it was an imposing figure to do the walk around.
Gotcha.
But he had just his mannerisms and everything. It was just neat.
Cool. But anyway, that cup holder's for George's big coffees and big gulps.
Big gulps, yep, because he used to take the big gulps over to Japan with him and say, hey, we need our cup holders like this size. So
it's the little things, Michael.
It's the little things. Yeah, and but people take it for granted.
They
do,
know? Yeah.
The ease of opening the front window, you know, I mean, that's I've got bad shoulders.
Yeah.
You know, so now
Same.
if I'm working utility work and I've got somebody in the pit or in the ditch right there in front of me, you know, and we're stabbing pipe and doing that, you know, I'm sitting here and I'm able to talk to them easily, and even with my bad shoulders, that just came up really easy.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's locked out of your way. Now I can talk to the person in the that's in the ditch.
Yep.
So, okay.
Sweet, man. Nice toggle switch layout.
Oh,
over
everything.
here. I love knobs.
Everything's
I
got
love knobs and buttons.
You know, we don't have an auto reversing fan,
Okay.
but we do have so if you start, you can hit and it will reverse the fan. But it's not auto reversing because in some of the applications, this machine gets in places where you don't need it to auto reverse.
Right.
And so
you don't need it blowing out in the street or blowing on employees or blowing on a neighboring building.
Yes.
I didn't think about that.
Yes, or sometimes there's a couple of applications where this is inside of a building.
Okay.
With a shear on it, cutting up stuff.
Steel and what have you.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
So and you don't want it. You're in an enclosed environment. You don't need it to auto reverse. So it's got that and that activates your counterweight removal system so that it sends the power to the remote.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Let's fire this beast up, can we? That just sounds powerful, man. I love that.
I mean, that engine sounds like an old school diesel.
Yeah, it does. I love it. The old glog glog.
So she cranks up. She's going through her auto warm-up now, running through. You can hear it going over a leaf. It's warming the hydraulics up. It's getting the hydraulics up to that optimal temperature before we start digging. So we can dig now if we wanted to.
Right.
But this is, you know, while you're doing your morning checks, if you've got, depending on where you work, you got a checklist.
Paperwork,
yeah. You know, you're getting things. She's running through her auto warm-up process, making sure that she's ready to go.
I hate running a machine cold, so let her get warm.
The hydraulics don't want you to either.
No, they don't. They don't like to run cold.
So. But yeah, so you can see you've got your camera views. I like that's setting up on a bird's eye view.
Yep.
So you can see. The neat thing is even though you've got 3 cameras, you still have full view. Somebody could walk around out there,
oh, yeah,
and they would still stay into view. So, and you can change that to where you have different things on the screen. So if we change that, we go to, so we can go.
Okay, you got a couple different layouts.
Yeah, we've got different layouts. So, all right, so now I'm seeing just what's behind me.
Like a straight view out the back.
Straight view out the back, because that for me, that was the area that really you don't have any visibility.
No, that's your complete blind spot.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've got mirrors. If your mirrors are set correctly, if you're not in the trees and stuff, I know when we get in the trees and we clear, our mirrors get knocked off. But I'm sitting down and I can see down the side of my machine.
You cannot see in the back. No, you just can't. Nice, man.
You got your different modes. Another thing that's special about Kobelco now, in North America, ours come up on H mode.
Okay.
H mode, full throttle. She's doing what she's going to do. She's not fuel efficient, as fuel efficient.
But you got all the power you want.
Got everything. Now, as we get a little, I don't sit in the seat a whole lot anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't look as smooth as I used to, right? That bothers me. So I'll put it in S mode.
Okay.
S mode, if you're doing grading work or something fine work, S mode will go down and almost go to eco. You see the link?
What's S mode stand for, you know?
I don't know.
Okay. You just
Standard,
like it. Yeah.
Standard mode.
Simple.
Simple.
Smooth.
Simple like me. But it'll go down and it will almost go into eco mode.
Okay.
Or it comes in with a few hundred RPM of the H mode.
Gotcha.
So it'll almost get you H if you're doing something. If you're hogging dirt,
yeah,
you can still load trucks. It does a great job of loading trucks, but it takes some of that pop and bang out of it,
right,
being a rusty stick puller now because I'm no longer an operator anymore. Right?
Turns you into a smooth operator instantly.
Yeah, well, it takes it a bit to learn you, right? Yeah. So but got that, and then we've got eco mode. Okay, now eco mode, the rest of the world, I believe it comes up in eco mode. All right, and so eco mode is just for game's sake, we're going to say 400 RPMs off of H mode.
Okay,
that's lower RPM setting. You always, anytime you're running a hydraulic excavator, you want to throttle wide open. Let the computer control the RPMs, right? Okay. But it drops the RPMs down a bit, makes the machine more efficient. So if you're hammering, run it in eco mode. If you're doing fine grading, it slows the machine down a little bit. Puts her in eco mode.
Okay, so, interesting.
And so there's a lot of versatility. You just have to figure out where to run the machine at.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Because it depends. We go and interview some end users, and they have spreadsheets showing the amount of fuel that the machine's burning. Okay. And we got other operators that are just concerned about production.
Gotcha.
If you're
For like me, I just would need to move dirt.
Then we need to be in H mode.
H mode, yeah.
H mode, right?
And then I assume it's got auto idle.
It does
too. So when the truck's not there, it's going to idle down to save some fuel.
And it's got auto shutdown. So all that is set up in the system. We can typically turn auto shut off.
Yep.
Because nothing's more aggravating than to be on a phone call and you have the bucket load of dirt up there and the machine
turns off,
shuts itself off.
Okay.
So I'm not a fan of the auto shut off.
Yeah.
It has its purpose.
Yeah.
We'll put her back in H mode. There we go. All right, then the Kobelco adds modes. Okay. And so you can see right now because we don't have a thumb, we don't have any attachments on the front, so we're in the dirt front, right? Then you have as you roll around, some of them are just named options because we have all sorts of attachments that are hung on the front of these machines, okay? And so you scroll around that, you've got those blank. Now, once you set the machine up, I can go in there and set the machine up in that option and turn the machine off and it's saved.
Okay. Okay. So it could be custom to me and whatever attachment I got out.
Yes. And so another thing is if I go in there and set it up in that, and then I've got another operator that comes in that runs the machine with a shear on it, then I can set that machine up for that operator, and it'll be saved under that option.
Okay.
Okay. So I can set it to the operator in these different options.
That's handy.
Yes. So you got different things. You get your wig-wag bucket that has a picture. The grapple, thumb, okay, the claw, shear, all that is already set up in there. And then back to we're going to choose that because we're in dirt, right? So, and you can see the auto idle. So there, I've turned my auto idle on. Okay. You have when we go to this here, travel independent mode. So now when I go to travel independent mode, it has which you heard we just went into the so now the oil's up to operating temperature.
Okay.
So now we're quitting going over relief. We're not warming the oil up anymore. All right. So we've got a green banner. It slows the machine down, but it separates the pumps. So I've got one pump that's controlling the bottom and one pump that's controlling the top. Okay? So if you're crawling and doing something where you don't want it to be jerky when you're crawling, go ahead and move it in independent travel. Okay.
Now that is cool.
Now, when we get the strongman there, now we're in heavy lift. Heavy lift, all heavy lift does is changes the relief, separates the pumps. It doesn't make it lift anymore.
Right.
Okay. But it does slow the pump. It does slow the machine down because now it has prioritized the pumps. It's separated the lift. So if I am craning and I'm setting a manhole or a large concrete structure or something down in a hole, and I want to make sure it smooths the machine up. That goes back to some of our cranes. So you look over on that yard over there.
Right.
Kobelco makes cranes.
Yeah, and a lot of them.
A lot of them. And so we've got that. That is one of the craning functions. So it smooths the machine down. So when you're coming over and you're setting that structure down in that hole, we don't want it swinging.
No. Bouncing around, that's dangerous.
And so that's not. But it does slow the machine down.
Yeah.
So that's the reason it's got a green banner. It tells you that the heavy lift is on. Okay. So there you go.
That's cool, man. Yeah. I think most people like me, we see heavy lift. Okay, well. I can lift more. It's going to be stronger, but it's just slowing it down, making it smoother, and prioritizing that function.
It does, and it takes away your power boost because it turns power boost on full time. Okay. And so a lot of times if you're stumping and you need and you use that little power boost to get that little extra burst, I don't think you have to do that with a 52 ton.
No, you should. That'd have to be a heck of a stump.
Yeah. So, but on a 210 or something, you're out stumping with a 170 or 210. You hit that power boost. Well, if you don't want to hit the power boost button, you can hold it. There's no time limit on it. A lot of the competitors put a time limit on it.
Yeah, that's what you do, like a couple seconds.
No, you can keep ours on all the time.
Oh, okay.
All right, so if you want to hold the switch, you can hold the switch, or you can just put it into heavy lift.
Heavy lift. Okay.
So just be mindful that heavy lift does bump you up to that. Bump the pressure up, but it is going to prioritize the pump. So heavy lift is going to slow it down a little bit.
Okay.
Whereas power boost, just hitting the button, doesn't prioritize.
Understood.
Okay.
Very awesome, man.
All right. So any other questions about it?
No, I think that's it, buddy. You did a fantastic job explaining the 520 to us, man.
Awesome.
We sure appreciate you, buddy.
All right, well, let's go play in some dirt.
I'm ready to go dig in some dirt.
Yeah, let's go dig.
All right, thanks, dude.
All right, thank you.
Guys, y'all do us a favor, hit that like button down there. It helps the video out, and be sure to hit that notifications bell because the next video that comes out is going to be us actually running some of this Kobelco equipment down here in Hockley, Texas with Kobelco. Big shout out to them for bringing us down here, and it's all because of you guys, for your subscribing and making the little YouTube channel Mr. Dig what it is today. Can't thank you enough. See you on the next video.